Right now at 6, another teacher accused of sexually abusing a student makes his first court appearance. What we're learning about the allegations against a high school math teacher. Plus, symbols of hate carved into a mailbox in West Lynn, the response from city leaders and the Jewish community. And the Portland woman who's rallying financial support for her California friends who escaped with their lives but lost everything else. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. We begin at 6 with new details about a Banks High School math teacher now charged with sexually abusing a student. Wyman Smith is at least the 4th current or former teacher in our area charged in a case like this, and within the last couple of months. Devin Haskins is live in Hillsborough at the Washington County Courthouse. So Devin, walk us through what you've learned.
Well, David, Wyman Smith was in court earlier today. He's been on administrative leave with the district since the 7th. That was the same day the district learned about these allegations. They then say they notified the state about this, as well as calling the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Wyman Smith now charged with 2 counts of sexual abuse in the 2nd degree and 2 counts of luring a minor. In Washington County Court today, Wyman Smith making his first appearance before a judge. The judge setting his bail in this case at $25,000.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Smith is a longtime math teacher at Banks High School and a former assistant football coach. And in the small town, the arrest is big news.
It's all over the community page. Everybody's sharing it. Everybody's kind of shocked.
Rachel Jimenez says her husband had Smith as a teacher, as well as her stepson just last year.
My husband had him as a teacher, and he wouldn't have suspected anything. And then the one that's in high school currently had him previously, and he said he was a great teacher and didn't suspect anything either.
Court documents allege that on January 6th, Smith inappropriately touched a female student in the neck and the side breast area. Detectives also say he tried to lure the student by talking to them about explicit sexual conduct. Smith was placed on leave on January 7th and arrested on the 14th.
It's really important for our students to understand that it takes a lot of courage to come forward. And if they're afraid to do so, find a safe person that they can talk to if some inappropriate contact has been made.
The school district reported the abuse allegations to the state as well. The district declined a request for an interview, but in a letter sent home to parents wrote, "These charges are very serious and represent behavior that is completely unacceptable." The statement went on to say, "We are committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of students at all times and will not tolerate any behavior or action that does not serve that purpose." A sentiment echoed by a parent.
I would hope that it would be taken seriously, and that if there's any suspicions of any other teachers, that it would get taken care of. I want my kids to be safe, and I want everyone to feel comfortable going to school.
Detectives believe there may be more victims out there and are asking if anyone knows anything to give the Washington County Sheriff's Office a call. Wyman Smith will be back in court on January 23rd. David?
Yeah, Devin Haskins in Hillsborough for us. Thank you, Devin. Banks, by the way, just the latest community to be roiled by allegations of teachers sexually abusing students. In St. Helens, both a retired and current teacher were arrested in November and are facing multiple charges of sexual abuse. The high school principal is also facing charges accused of failing to report said alleged abuse. The district superintendent, several staff members all remain on administrative leave. Right now, the school board is meeting to start the process of hiring a new acting superintendent. Late this afternoon, the board chair shifted that meeting online, saying there were threats directed at the in-person meeting. In Vancouver, a Hudson's Bay high school teacher was accused of having a sexual relationship with a student in 2013. Shadrian Gatson was arrested last month and placed on leave, but the charges were later dropped because of the statute of limitations. He submitted his resignation yesterday. And in Albany, former teacher and wrestling coach Deuce Foley was also arrested last month. He's facing charges related to an alleged sexual relationship with a student while working at South Albany High. In your headlines tonight, a judge has acquitted a former Westview High football coach of all charges stemming from an incident at an off-season team camp. Coach Jamal Jones was accused of slapping and shaking teens awake at the camp at Linfield College last summer. He was arrested and charged with 12 counts of misdemeanor harassment, resigned, and was put on administrative leave from his job as a Hillsborough police officer. In a statement, Jones thanked those who supported him and said he wants to put the incident behind him. Hillsborough police confirmed that Jones remains employed with the department. In Battleground, police are asking for help finding the driver of a pickup truck who hit a woman and left her seriously injured. This was on Saturday morning before 8 on westbound State Route 502 near the former VCA Animal Hospital. Authorities say the victim, a 45-year-old woman, remains in the hospital in critical condition. Investigators believe the suspect was driving a late model Chevy Silverado similar to this one. They do not know the exact color, but say it likely sustained damage to the passenger side mirror. And Peace Health Southwest Medical Center is asking people to avoid coming to the ER unless they have a true emergency. That is because they say they are overwhelmed with high cases of RSV and flu. One nurse we spoke to said they're seeing record numbers with wait times as long as 8 to 12 hours. They are pleading with people who don't need to be in the ER to find another option.
We are asking that if you have a non-emergent symptom, that you start with your primary care doctor or one of our priority care centers, clinics.
Peace Health says it does not expect the numbers of flu and RSV cases to drop until later this month. Matt?
All right, David, thank you very much. We've had a beautiful day around Western Oregon, especially Northwest Oregon, where we got rid of the fog and low clouds, courtesy of the east wind. It's 41. Southeast winds are light at the airport, but once you get east of the airport, they're quite strong. So we'll keep an eye on that during the overnight hours and tomorrow. Let's check the temperatures around town. With the clear sky that we had, now that the sun's gone down, getting cold faster. Already dropped to 40 in Forest Grove, Hillsborough, and Beaverton. 39 in Happy Valley. It's 38 in Boring already. So yeah, we are losing what little heat we got today quite rapidly. 40s on the coast where they dropped into the 20s in spots earlier this morning. Now the winds are pretty light everywhere until you get east of I-205. Then Troutdale sustained to 23, and out of the gorge, Corbett and Crown Point sustained 28 to 37. We had gusts as high as 66 miles an hour there, which is brutal for them. But that east wind goes into the Portland area and mixed out the fog for us. Did us that favor. Areas south and west of downtown will have fog again tomorrow morning, but then the clouds come in, so a slightly different day. High of about 43 for you. Then we go back to sunshine and east winds this weekend, and our coldest temperatures of the season so far arrive this weekend, at least in the morning hours. Back to you.
I can feel it already. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you in a few. Now at 6, elected and religious leaders are condemning an act of hate in West Linn where someone carved swastikas into a mailbox. Libby Dowsett's live in West Linn with those details. Libby?
David, the mailbox was covered in moss, and that's how a Jewish neighbor noticed the swastikas and knew they were intended for her. Now the city council wants to send a message: hate will not be tolerated in this town.
Therefore, be it proclaimed by the City Council of West Linn that we have a shared value, that all people are intrinsically equal.
A proclamation against hate as West Linn City Council member Leo Groner makes it clear this most recent incident of swastikas found carved into a mailbox in West Linn hits close to home.
My grandparents, many relatives, including a girl who would have been my older sister, were taken by the Nazis and murdered. And so this incident, anti-Semitism, is very personal to me.
Groner says the owner of the mailbox wants to remain anonymous, and police have not released the photo of the mailbox.
For many people, again, this is ancient history and not relevant to their own lives. But it reappears. Hate reappears.
West Linn resident Michelle Bombette Minch saw the photo of the swastikas on the mailbox posted on her friend's personal Facebook page and went straight to the mayor and city leaders to share how she and her children have also been discriminated against for being Jewish.
In high school, we saw a much more deliberate, organized, and calculated form of hate.
It was horrible for my kids in high school, and this was pre-October 7th. So imagine what it is now, the hate from the right and the left.
And this is not the first incident in West Linn. 4 years ago, a Jewish family was building a house here, and someone graffitied a swastika at the construction site before they even moved in. Bombette Minch is a volunteer with the Jewish Federation of Greater Portland.
I think oftentimes, unless you've experienced it yourself, you have no clue what's going on.
She says the key is education. Let people know what's really happening in their communities.
Kids, adults, we all could use more education and understanding and accepting of each other.
And the Jewish Federation of Greater Portland offers training sessions for police departments like we're at right now, schools, and whoever else is interested, just to recognize the signs of hate and bias in our communities. David, back to you.
Yeah, and something we all have to call out and condemn each and every time it happens. Thank you, Libby. For the first time in a dozen years, the state of Washington has a new governor. Bob Ferguson took the oath of office shortly after noon today. He comes to that office after a 12-year run as the Attorney General under three-term Governor Jay Inslee. One of the new governor's first challenges to address a $12 billion budget deficit over the next couple of years. Here's some of what he said during his inaugural remarks.
Too many of our residents are unsheltered. Housing is too expensive, and there's not enough of it. Our state government is bogged down by too much bureaucracy, and core freedoms, like reproductive freedom, are threatened. Despite these and other challenges, I am optimistic.
It is a season of transitions. Today, Ferguson also signed executive orders directing state agencies to find ways to speed up housing production, to cut down on state permitting and licensing times, and to create a roundtable focused on protecting reproductive freedoms. Meanwhile, authorities in Portland are preparing for the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump on Monday. You may remember we saw large protests following his first inauguration in 2017. This time, Portland Police Chief Bob Day says they are preparing by collaborating more with law enforcement partners. PPB officers will be expected to work 10-hour days, and the increased police presence will extend through at least Tuesday.
We do want to take advantage of chances that we can to reduce our traffic fatalities. So maybe we have if we're not managing a public order event, maybe we have a focus on traffic, making sure we're emphasizing our outreach to people that are steeped in addiction. And so maybe there's an opportunity for us to use some of these resources to get more people connected to services.
Well, as for downtown businesses boarding up, Chief Day says that is completely up to them. Police say they're monitoring 3 demonstrations planned for the days ahead. By the way, DA Nathan Vasquez says he plans to prosecute anyone who breaks the law.